and welcome to Retro Gaming Weekly. My name is Jack Coburn, and today we're playing Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. Released in 1993, February 21st, 1993 in Japan, March 23rd, 1993 in North America, June 3rd, 1993 in Europe, and June 5th, 1993 in the United Kingdom. Star Fox is considered to be one of the greatest video games of all time for how it pushed the boundaries of console gaming at the time. Developed by Nintendo EAD and Argonaut Software, designed and produced by the famous Shigeru Miyamoto, and programmed by Dylan Cuthbert and Giles Goddard, with art by Takai Imamura and music by Hajime Hirasawa, players get to play as Fox McCloud, leader of an elite squadron of mercenaries known as the Star Fox Team, which includes Falco Lombardi, Peppy Hare, and Slippy Toad. You play as Fox McCloud, and you take on Andros, the mad scientist, and his army from the planet Venom in order to protect the Lilat system of planets. Second 3D game of Nintendo after X for the Game Boy in 1992, and the first game to use polygonal graphics achieved by creating the Super FX chip for the cartridge. Argonaut worked with Nintendo on the Super FX chip, the first 3D accelerator in a consumer product, after explaining to Nintendo that their prototype game, NES Glider, which borrowed ideas from their earlier game on PCs of the 80s, Star Glider, would be the best that they could do. Miyamoto cited the X-Wings from Star Wars as inspiring the AR Wings, the ship you see me rolling and turning on the screen, and the Fushimi Inari Taisha shrine inspired both the gates on the levels and Fox McCloud himself, thanks to the Senbon Torii gates and a fox statue at the shrine respectively. Miyamoto wanted animal characters in the series to be different from conventional sci-fi stories, and he was such a fan of the Gary Anderson show, Thunderbirds, which involved puppets and, scale model spaceships from the 60s. If you haven't seen it, take a look at it. That a puppet version of Fox McCloud appears on the box. Nintendo Power at the time gave it a 4 and an 8th out of 5 stars, and Game Informer gave it a 9.25 out of 10 at the time. They later revised their rating to an 8.25 out of 10 in a retro review 15 years later. It sold 325,000 units in Japan by December 93, and around 1.4 million in the US by the end of March 1993, becoming the fastest selling video game launch up until then. 4 million copies were sold worldwide in 1998. A sequel was developed in 1995, Star Fox 2, but it went unreleased until 2017 when it appeared on the Super Nintendo Classic Mini console. Anyway, let's talk more about the game itself, and I've never played Star Fox. When I got my N64 in 1999, I bought a lot of racing games, or, my parents bought me a lot of racing games. I'm trying to think. The only games I might have had that were Pokemon Snap, come to think of it. So I never played Star Fox 64. Again, because I knew what these games cost. They were probably like $45 to $50 at the time, and I just didn't want to, waste people's money if I didn't like the game. So I just kind of was like, well, I'll stay in my lane, play racing games. But luckily, now I get to play whatever kinds of video games I want. I have a Super Famicom, but we're playing this on a Super Nintendo, well, an emulator technically, and we're gonna have a good time. Now, normally I don't test games before I come out and play these with you. I'll just go in blind, and what you see is what you get, and you'll see that in demo derbies. I wanted to see how this one would play just because I was so fascinated by it. So I did the tutorial mission, which we'll get to in a second, just to see what it was like. And I'm terrible at it, so don't think I'm gonna be perfect. I didn't really practice hard, I just wanted to get the control scheme down. But anyway, enough talking, let's get into it. So if you're wondering why we're playing this now, it's because Nintendo has released a new version of it, Star Fox 64, for the Switch 2, which came out last week. If you didn't see Pieces of Path last week, you will fully not understand this. But I was watching the Regulation Podcast crew give it a go, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to play one of the original games for Retro Gaming Weekly, since I don't have a Switch 2. And I just kind of stumbled upon this one. So I'm gonna hit the brake real quick and fly through the gate. I'm gonna drop the Nova Bomb. Okay, we're in formation. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to stay in formation. That's kind of okay. I don't know how anybody was able to on a Super Nintendo controller in 1993, because frankly, I also don't know how they're barrel rolling, because that isn't even a control listed on the thing. Anywho, one of the things that I like about this is that it just feels kind of cool it feels good to play as I totally slam into the cones on the test course. Let's see what happens if because as you'll learn very quickly, I like to play video games wrong. It's more fun to play video games wrong. And so let's just get a feel for our ship. Timing it perfectly. But yeah, I just kind of like how this plays. I mean, I loved playing Hyperplug, which you'll see this week on Demo Derby on Friday, because of all the World Cup stuff that we're doing on the channel. I thought that was a really good game, a nice little nod to things like Galaga. This feels like a completely different league that I'm playing in. And I don't think I have ever played a game quite like this. So, okay, let's get into the game. Again, I'm going to be terrible. I'm probably going to have to restart multiple times. That's okay. Let's just have some fun. Alright, there are 3 different ways we can go. Cordery is the planet we're going to start on. We need to get to Venom at the top. That's the end. But we can take a couple different routes to get there. So I think, let's just do level 1. We'll play through all of them as we go. Mainly because I just want to play all the different things. It's such a great game to have replayability for. I mean, this is going to be fantastic. I'm going to be awful, and it's going to be okay. We're going to probably get 52 weeks out of this. I don't know. Maybe not, but we're going to give it a go.
Good luck.
Scrambling the jets. Alright, we're gonna pop out. Alright, we get 3 lives. This should be good. Ooh, I am absolutely awful. It's a little different playing this than it is something on an N64 like Cruisin' USA. But in reality, it's the same kind of logic behind this. I mean, it is a rail shooter, which isn't the worst thing in the world. We're going to die, by the way. That is just kind of how it's going to be. I'm just going to avoid buildings. Oh boy. Well, now we know how to use the Nova bombs. Alright, we got through the checkpoint. That was easy enough. Here are those gates from the shrine I'm talking about. Okay. Oh boy! Feels like I'm fighting Voltron now. Oh, we're not doing too bad. Ooh. Ooh. Well, that's the end of that ship. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, here comes the big plane. What's really interesting is this thing has regenerative braking, like an F1 car. Ooh. Though boost and braking is essentially the same thing. So that's kind of interesting. Ooh, hey. I actually kind of like how this is. Man alive. Alright, we gotta do better at avoiding that. I'm just so focused on what's ahead of me. The 3D is not perfect. I'm still trying to kind of get used to this, because I am so used to playing Super Nintendo games where it's not like this at all. Where the closest thing to 3D is like a 2D sprite on a kinda like a 2.5D background. Okay, now we're getting the hang of it. He says as he gets blown up by... Ooh. Alright, we are getting the hang of this. Maybe I should shut up. It's all an adventure, isn't it? Yeah. Oh boy. So one thing we are definitely going to do with this series is it's going to be 30-minute things, simply because, and that is Dr. Andros, the monkey, because the general's a dog, the monkey is the evil guy, and that's because they're playing into a Japanese saying, fighting like dogs and monkeys. I don't know. But that's why they are the way they are. Anywho. Alright, let's do this. It has nothing to do with the control layout of this. It has everything to do with the, it just has everything to do with my handling of 33-year-old, game. 33-year-old gameplay. I mean, this game came out when I was, like, 5 months old here in the United States. So, I mean, I didn't really grow up as I grew up, with 64-bit Nintendos and 32-bit PlayStations. Whew. Boy, these... Woo! How does it know when the right time is to use the Nova Bomb? Woo! Boy, this is an adventure and a half. Honestly, this is what gaming... I remember being a kid, and people talking about this is what gaming was like. And I'm like, uh-huh. Like, I mean, we saw what it was like when I was playing Rally Challenge on the Windows 95. Oof. Ooh. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Alright, now I think we're getting the hang of this. Oh my god. This is intense. Oh, come on. At least we got to the checkpoint. They really damaged shit. So, yeah. Alright. Okay. Honestly, if anybody has any tips or tricks on how to do this, feel free to let me know in the comments. Oof. Okay, we've got rid of like a third of the enemy's power. We destroyed the thing that shoots out the blasters. So that's pretty good. Alright, now it's just... Oh boy! Look at this thing. This is so cool! Oh man, we got him! Whew. Yeah, of course Falco Lombardi, does a great job. 61%, I'll take it. Alright. Tell you what. I'm gonna cut this one short because I'm so happy with the success of this. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Retro Gaming Weekly. My name is Jack Coburn. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified about our next video. We'll continue to play Star Fox. We'll do it next week on Retro Gaming Weekly. And as the Retro Gaming Weekly World Cup ends, we won't be going back to FIFA for a little while. I am kind of FIFA'd out. We'll start introducing other games on the Retro Gaming Weekly block, just to have some different kind of stuff. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week for Star Fox and we tackle the asteroid belt. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And have a great 4th of July if you're here in the United States. Otherwise, have a great time watching the World Cup if you're anywhere else in the world. Bye-bye. This has been a presentation of Alsatian Productions. What's your strategy this time?